NLP, we have what's called the presuppositions, and the presuppositions are kind of just like beliefs that we hold, right? At a simple level for it. And one of them is the meaning of communication is the response that you get. Now, if you're unfamiliar with NLP, NLP was derived essentially from all the studies of how people were able to help others kind of like facilitate change. They studied, sales, all of these things, right? And so this is one of the conclusions that they kind of came to. The meaning of communication is the response that you get. Now, we can take that and we can go so many different pathways with that, right? But where I want to rock with you today is, how do you make people feel? Like, for real, like, how do you make people feel? And this is for you if you're in business, right? Especially like service-based business, things like that. How do you make people feel? This is something that I was contemplating. It's just, how do you make people feel? Do you make people feel like they're just a number in a room, on a spreadsheet, whatever? How do people feel? And I think that in some ways, not always, but I think that in some ways, we can look at the result of sales and sometimes say, is there a lack because of how I make people feel? Not like, oh, you make people feel bad, right? And even we could even go down that rabbit hole of make, but you know. Anyways, okay. So how do people feel when they're in their world in your world? How do people feel when they are in your presence? Is it the kind of thing where um, you know, people come along and you kind of just ignore them, or you minimize like how valuable their presence is? Like, isn't it crazy how we can sit here and do all this mindset work and talk about how like try to anchor into like how great we are and my presence is valuable and this and that, and then we don't honor that in other people? Like, something to contemplate, okay? But nonetheless, I think back to times where, like, say someone was doing like a live stream on Facebook and I popped on it. I'm the type of person that, like, I like to be supportive. So I'm the type that I will, like, comment, I'll engage, I'll make sure there's like a flood of hearts coming up on the screen. Like, that's just me. But when I go to engage and it's like, you act like I'm not there, I don't want to come back. I'm going to leave. And I really don't want to come back. I don't. I think about how I feel when I take my time and my energy and I spend it on you and you act like I'm not even in the room, right? And so I think about how maybe I make people feel, not just like from a place of like, oh, well, I need to change these things about me and this and that, but coming in sometimes the things that we do, the things that we say, the way that we show up might not actually be aligned with our actual values. And sometimes we need to check that, right? So I think about, when I'm on group calls, the person I'm talking to is the person I'm talking to. Like, that's who's in front of me. And I'm present with that person, right? I love to give that person my time, my energy. And it's just tunnel vision. Um, but can I can recall the times when I was more engaged in what I would call mean girl marketing, right? Because, we were being told like you need to be polarizing, you need to like prod at their pain points and like all that stuff, which for some people it works, right? It worked for me in the sense that I got a lot of attention, but was it the attention that I actually really wanted? I did a video yesterday talking about, entangling with the very things that we don't want. And this is an instance of just that. That when I showed up as the kind of person who was coming from a place of, again, like the mean girl marketing, of course I was going to attract mean girls, right? Like, people that had to be put in their place. We had to clink, lock that down. And I can I can reflect and think about, okay, the people who I was doing this marketing for, or towards, if you will, how did they feel reading my content? Like, how did they feel, you know? And so I think that this is one of those things where we just, sometimes it's good to sit down and really contemplate on these types of things. Like, genuinely, like we sit there and we talk about the marketing and the strategy and the this and the that we tend to forget that all of those people are still people. All of those people are still people. And so if you saw those people, if those people were right in front of you and you said those things, you did those things, and that person was physically right in front of you, how would you feel about yourself? I know this is like, can we call that character? Like, yeah, somewhat. Now I did hear a saying that said character is not how you like treat the janitor. Character is how you treat your loved ones when nobody's looking. And I'm like, ooh, child. Ooh, child. That's a good one. But nonetheless, how are you treating your people? How are you treating people? I had a coach that I worked with before, and she's made millions, millions, and she makes multi seven figures a year. And, you know, I paid $10,000 to be in her mastermind, and I did more than one round, and it was always valuable. And I could say that one of the things that she never taught us was like, this is a numbers game. Have you heard that? This is a numbers game, not this is like a people's game. This is a numbers game, right? And I get the sentiment, I do. But she never taught that to us because she's had multiple instances where the money that she made, it just didn't make sense for how her launches were going, right? This is like based off of this, and this variable, and this variable, and this variable. This should happen, this should happen, this should happen. You make this much. And like she would like blow those numbers out of the water. She never taught us to view the people in our world as numbers. It was never a numbers game. It was a show up and serve game, right? And one of the things that I have noticed is that, at least for her, she does like a 5-day like masterclass type thing, but on the last day she will do like open coaching that again allows it to feel like it's just you and her, tunnel vision. What can I do to serve you right now during this session? I'm not going to sit here and go down this whole rabbit hole of like, here's what's wrong with the coaching industry and the this and the this and the that, because certain things that I agree with are working for people. Certain things that I don't agree with are still working for people. Everything that I bring forth to you is not through the lens of this is right, this is wrong, but rather for you to contemplate that for yourself, draw those conclusions for yourself, and then walk in your truth. Always walk in your truth. And if that changes over time, then that changes over time. I was a bitch back in the day. Oh my gosh, I was a bitch. Not so much today, right? Like, I don't get in these videos and try to make you feel small and belittled and like poke at your pain points and you're wrong and you're stupid and you're dumb if you don't work with me. Like, oh my gosh, what? No. When you're ready, I'll be here. Okay? When you're ready, Quiana will be here. All right? Like, we don't need to calm down. I wish somebody would have been like, Quiana, calm your ass down. Okay? Calm your ass down. But at the same time, we all have to learn our lessons. And sometimes we will repeat the things, the patterns over and over and over until we learn the lessons and we make the shifts or the necessary changes. So I come back to asking you, how do you make people feel? How do you make people feel when you're out in public? Are you the type of person who just like has a nasty attitude with like the cashier or, the checkout girl because you know that you can? I've had a friend like that. It disgusted me, right? Are you the type of person who makes, the people in your world feel belittled so that they do buy from you? Like, are you the person that like makes people feel like they can do anything, or like, how do you make people feel? And does that align with who you say you are and who you say you want to be? Contemplations for all of us. But as I always say, awareness brings about choices, right? So let this spark whatever it needs to spark in you, and then you get to choose. Do I continue being like this, doing this? Or do I really feel like I need to maybe sit down, do some shadow work, do some shadow work, do some mindset work, right? And then do better, be better. Air quotes, better, because who's that, right? You all know me at this point. Nonetheless, if you did not see yesterday's video about entangling in the quantum field with the very things that you say that you don't want, and then you're wondering why you keep getting the results that you don't want, then you need to watch this video next, because, honey, we're going to get it together. We're going to get it together. I got you, Bookie. And if you have not joined the Magnetic Visibility Circle, you need to go ahead and do that like yesterday. Okay, I will see you in the video.